and the golden voice of Neil Rule. Sit back and relax. It's time for your daily dose of Big D energy.
What is up? Glad you can join us. It is Woodward Sports. He doesn't have 4 Stanley Cups, but got a couple rings, right?
Just a few.
Yeah. Lindsey Hunter, Sean Baligian, Spence Flannel here as well. All right, you know what? I'm going to start in a completely different place, okay? Like, you guys don't even know we're doing this. Lindsey and I were just talking about this, okay? For people out there that don't remember, when they... and you know who I mean by they. When they won the NBA championship in 2004, I am not sure, Lindsey, that there was a team ever that exemplified its city and its, personality like the 2004 Detroit Pistons did. And Lindsey and I were talking about this. Some of you may remember it. Some of you, it may be in... There was, honestly, I remember about a 10-day period where it seemed like there was a different party or get-together every day. There was something every day. The way that this city embraced that team, it was insanity. You told me it lasted probably about a month.
Oh, yeah. I was getting free everything for a good month or so. I was getting free gas. I was getting free groceries. I was getting free everything. I'm like I told you guys earlier, I was like, man, we got to try to win another one. This is the life. Like, the city really embraced us. And like you said, the characters we had on that team exemplified what Detroit was all about. We had guys that people didn't want, people thought were misfits, people thought, oh, you can't win with that guy. Oh, they're bringing Rashid here. I mean, it was a bunch of guys that people had traded away or thought careers were over. And it came together perfectly. It came together perfectly for us. It was a hard-working team that was our stamp.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what Detroit is. And I think every individual on that team kind of had something that the city loved about us, And it was, man.
It was, to your point, Lindsey, and I mean no disrespect, there wasn't a quote-unquote superstar on that team. And you know what I mean by a superstar.
Right.
A transcendent, we're going to be talking about this guy as a generational guy. You had just a bunch of talent, and you had a bunch of guys that came together and beat the snot out of that Laker team that nobody thought was going to be beaten. And,
Right.
and that is, to me... that is what makes a Detroiter embrace you.
Right.
Those are because everybody counts Detroit out in everything. It's been that way for a long time. It looks like Beirut. It looks like this place. We've been hearing that crap for so long now. I think that's why that team was. Now, don't get me wrong. When, and I mean when, not if. When the Lions win a Super Bowl, because I'm convinced it's going to happen, okay? I'm
Spin mode. Do you hear that?
It's going to happen. It may not be this year. It may not be next year, but I am one of those people. I refuse to believe, I cannot believe that the Detroit Lions are bad and are always going to be bad. And I know there are people out there that think that way. As Exhibit A, I present to you the Golden State Warriors. I can keep going with that. The Golden State Warriors were like a nothing franchise forever, man.
Stock of the NBA.
Stop it. And so that'll be something different because everybody's been waiting for the Lions their whole life. But no, as a guy that lived there and saw that with a front row seat like you did, that was a party, man. When the Pistons won in 2004, that was an absolute party.
Oh, man. I think I heard Rashid talking about it somewhere. He was talking about how many parties he went to every single night for about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
He's not lying. But I just remember, man, there was nowhere everywhere you went, everybody celebrated you. And I just wish everybody could experience, especially here in Detroit, if you can experience that. And even like you were saying, Sean, I hear people talk about Detroit, and what really makes me happy is when somebody dogs Detroit, man, the Detroiters go after their necks, and I love every minute of it. I think on one of the shows, somebody was like, Detroit, nobody wants to go there. And boy, they got all over his ass.
Yeah.
And I was loving it. I love that about our city. And I think that's kind of how our sports team, they take on that mantra.
You know, you are Exhibit A for something that I have felt for a long time here. Do you know how many guys play here that aren't from here, that come here, become part of our society during their playing days, and then say, man, I love this place. I'm going to stay here. This is where my family's going to play. I mean, you're Exhibit A. I mean, if we're in court right now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to offer Exhibit A. Lindsey Hunter, who's lived here for forever now, since he's been a Detroit Piston. And that's, to me, that's what I say to people all the time. You know, you see somebody from another city, and, Detroit. And I'm like, dude, have you been here? Like, this is a great area to raise a family. And you are, again, living proof of the guy that says, you know what, I'm not from here, but I want to be here. Right. And that's, I mean, look at all the people. I mean, whether it be hockey players, whether it be football players, whether it be, a bunch of the Pistons, even some baseball players that said, you know what, this is home now. This is where I want to be.
Yeah,
I love it.
And it's a great place. And I think people, the misconception is because, our downtown is in a resurgence now and everything is, really starting to spark up down there. It's different now. It's totally different than when I first got here. And people don't really know that. People always associate Detroit with, hey, well, you guys downtown is this, that, and the other. Or, I'm not like, dude, I love Detroit. Like, I love Detroit. That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
Like, it's a great city. It's like you said, it's a great city to raise a family. It's a great city to be, if you live in Detroit, you can see what's happening down there. There's a lot going on. If you live in the suburbs, you're not far from the city, it's like a perfect mix of everything.
We're going to get into the Lions in just a second, and at least Lindsey and I are here a week later, so you can think we're not hypocrites. We're going to say the exact same thing that we did a week ago, okay? We'll get to that in just a second. You know what I feel sorry for? I say this all the time. So I have a 23-year-old sports-loving kid who he wants, for whatever reason, I still don't know how it happened. Maybe I'll have the conversation with him one day. He loves baseball. Like, the Tigers are his life. And, growing up for me, I was a Tiger fan. I mean, what kid wasn't? But it wasn't like, oh, my gosh. And, I mean, he lives and dies Tigers. And, I've said this before. When I was a kid, I got sick and tired about hearing about 1968. I got sick and tired about it. And then 84 happened, and that was my 68. So now you got a generation of fans like Spence, like Flannel, like my son. Stop with the 84 stuff. And then you take it a step further. Like Spence, how old are you?
26.
Okay, you're 26 years old. So you remember 08, the Stanley Cup in 08.
Oh,
I mean, you were young, but you remember it. Man, we're in a drought right now, man. We don't realize, Lindsey, when you think about it, how lucky we had it for a few years. There is the big gap between 84 and then the Wings won in 97. And then they won again in 98. And if you want to throw Michigan's national championship in there, you can do that as well.
Which Michigan national championship?
97.
Do we count that one?
Oh, boy.
Of course you count that one.
Oh, boy.
My God.
Oh, boy.
I'm just asking.
Then Michigan State
it was a toss-up,
in 2000, right? Then you got the Wings again in 02, and then the Wings again in 08, and the Pistons in 04. We had it pretty good for a while, man.
And the funny part about it, Sean, is when you're winning, you think it's never going to end.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
You think you're going to win championships every single year. And when I remember talking to Eldon Campbell. Eldon Campbell was drafted by the Lakers. He went to the finals as a rookie. And he was like, man, I just thought this is how it was. He never went back.
Isn't that crazy?
Until he got to Detroit in 04.
Isn't that crazy? Jeez, Pete, man.
And it can happen so fast because your career goes, and if you're one of those guys that's lucky enough to be on a great team to get to a championship, you think that's how it's supposed to be. Like, you're like, yeah, this is no, that's not reality. Like, very few teams get to win it all in any sport.
I think if anybody, and please don't throw a right hook at me for saying this, if I told people in 2004, guess what, I just came back from the future, this is the only title that crew in 04 is going to win, people would have killed me. If there were chat rooms, the people in the chat room would have been, shut up, idiot. You know, go through the list of all the things you would have said. No, Lindsey, I wouldn't even have said it. No way. That's this 04 team, this magical run, this team that came together and collectively a bunch of incredibly qualified and quality individuals became a great team. And that was a great team. Make no mistake about that. Team being the key and operative word. If you would have told me in the summer of 04, that's it, they're not going to win again, Lindsey, I wouldn't have believed it. There's no way in Hades I would have believed it.
Well, we were supposed to win back-to-back, but
I don't.
I hate even talking about. I hate even talking
Robert
about.
fucking
I hate
Horry.
even talking about that situation.
Robert Horry. Gosh, mother scratching.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's the thing about like winning, and we talked about it football-wise, because you not only have to be good, you have to have some luck fall your way. You know, things happen your way.
Brock Purdy. That's how it came. Nobody saw Brock Purdy coming. Like, knock it off. If you're one of those guys, I watched him and I knew that Brock. Shut the heck up. No, you didn't. Stop it.
Hey, well, and you know, just thinking back, man, looking at some of the great Super Bowl runs of teams that were kind of the unlikely winners, the Giants, twice.
Yeah.
Think about the things that took place when the Giants were on their run to get to the Super Bowls. I mean, Eli was just a mere mortal quarterback during the regular season. Probably subpar, would you say?
Yeah.
Very subpar during the regular season. When the playoffs came, this dude, I mean, he became a superhero.
Incredible.
Yes.
Incredible.
You know, he just made all the plays. I mean, their defense was, you know, off the charts. We know the defense, their front four was probably, during those runs, were one of the best ever. Mm-hmm. You know, but Eli made plays. The receivers became household names. I mean, things like that have to transpire for you to get to those situations. And I'm just excited watching the Lions in this kind of the beginning of something that could be special, because a lot of people are not expecting them. I know nationally they're expected to make the playoffs this year. Everybody's saying.
I think so.
Yeah, no doubt. That's a no-brainer. But I want to see the excitement for them to really be elite. Like, I want that. And I know it's hard. And, Sean, you guys speak on it. You and Spinmo talk about it all the time, even Flannel. They've been losing for so long. It's just hard to look past, hey, can we win a playoff game?
It's real. We can pretend it's not, and people can sit back and say that well this is a different team, and it is a different team, and it's a different era. But you have to remember, no matter how old you are, okay, I've got 40 some odd years of incredible disappointment and kicks in the groin. Okay. So Spence said he's 26. He's got about 21 years of unbelievable, I don't believe what I just saw. So, yes, it looks different. And I really believe it's different, okay? But whether we want to admit it or not, in the back of our head, you're like, okay, when is the other shoe going to drop? It's real. There's nothing wrong with saying that. You know another guy, like Joe Flacco. Mm-hmm. Like, look at Joe Flacco's, like, playoff stats for a few years. Like he was just this run-of-the-mill quarterback, and then like in playoff time, it was like, what the hell happened to Flacco? Flacco's a superstar.
He had one of the best postseasons of all time in that Super Bowl run.
Got him $130 million.
Yep.
Insane. I mean, that's the way it goes. So, but yes, definitely the Lions are heading in the right direction. Make no mistake about it. It's. And this is a perfect time to tease what we're going to talk about next. Both Lindsey and I talked about this last week, and I know some of you didn't like it. These games mean nothing. Don't put anything into them. Good, bad, or indifferent. Do you know what I took out of Saturday? Like, seriously, are you ready? Nothing. Nothing. I took nothing out of Saturday. And you know what I took out of last week?
Nothing.
Nothing. I took nothing. Okay, wait, no, check that. The Lions needed to upgrade their backup quarterback. That's what I took out of the previous week. Don't be a wiseacre and say maybe we should still. But we'll get into that in a couple minutes. Lindsey Hunter, Sean Baligian. Flannel, Spence here. Glad you could join us here on Woodward Sports.
Let me tell you about Big Boy, because Strawberry Fest is back at Big Boy. Try the classic breakfast items like some strawberry hotcakes or mouth-watering red velvet waffle. If you're not feeling breakfast, try the strawberry bacon chicken wrap or cool off with the refreshing summer splash salad. And don't forget to grab dessert, including the very delicious classic strawberry pie, deep fried vanilla Oreos, strawberry hot fudge cake, and more at Big Boy.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
It's the Randy Wise Celebrity Golf Tour.
You're a good coach, Tim. Oh, great shot.
Some of the biggest names in Michigan sports, and some, well, not so much.
Oh, yeah, baby. Oh, yeah, baby.
Watch episodes at woodwardsports.com.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Your childhood may be over, but playtime is not. Outdoor Equipment Company is your source for outdoor power equipment, sales, service, and parts, carrying top brands such as Bad Boy, LS Tractor, Steel, and more, servicing the Great Lakes region with locations in Metro Detroit and Greater Lansing. For more information, visit us at OutdoorEquipCo.com. Outdoor Equipment Company, your power equipment playground.
All right, welcome back in. Glad you could join us. Listen, far be it from me to tell you how you should act or react. If you want to go crazy about what you saw on Saturday, go right ahead. Seriously, go right ahead. I don't get it. Do what you need to do, though, okay? Lindsey, to me, when a coach, in essence, comes out and says, we're not playing anybody, we're not starting anybody, What? Well, what do you expect? Do hooray, our 3s and 4s are better than their 3s and 4s. I don't, for the life of me, I don't get it. And I'm going to tell you point blank, you know what? This was one game where, of course, I watched it. I'm a fan. Forget about member of the media. I'm a fan. I like watching it.
Right.
But was this, I'm all invested, I'm all in on this? Hell no. You know what I did? I went to Wayne Strait's scrimmage first. I went home and did the old speed watch. Right. I was like, I'm going to go watch some football in person, up close and in person, and then I'll go home and catch up with it and do the speed watch. Honestly, and Flannel, seriously, Flannel, Spence, if you guys, nothing. That doesn't change my feeling about this team one way, shape, or form. And if they won convincingly, I'd feel the exact same way. I hate to be a stick in the mud, but that's just the way it is, man. I took nothing. Did you take anything out of it?
No, I watched preseason just to see if any of the starters are going to possibly take some meaningful snaps or whatever, just to, some guys need a rhythm, some guys don't. Some guys have gotten it early on in, the other games. But that's what I watch for. Then I watch for guys who probably played last year to see, how they look. Are they in midseason form? We saw our guy Houston had a great, outstanding game. But
sure.
But you're in a lose-lose situation in these games because, like you said, nobody was really playing. So if you do well, what do they say? Oh, he wasn't playing against anybody.
Yeah.
If you don't do well, what do they say? Well, he couldn't do anything against the second and third string guys. So you're in a lose-lose. What do you do? So that's why what you said is so true. I mean, hey, you take it for what it's worth. It's a preseason game. We got to do it. We got to play it.
Now, it doesn't mean that there are still some jobs that,
right.
Or I don't know who put it out there. Maybe it was you, Spence. Whoever was talking about Coda. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I like that kid.
Yeah.
I like that kid. I think he may have done enough to cinch that number 5 spot, and we'll see how things play out. It doesn't mean that there aren't things to look out for and put into, but in terms of what the 2023 Lions season will be, okay? Look, we could play the exact same segment from last week. Guys, the 2008 Detroit Lions went 4-0. What do you want me to tell you? And by the way, the other 0-16 team, the Cleveland Browns, you're never going to guess what they did in the exhibition season. Undefeated as well. I'm sorry. Maybe I've been around. Maybe I've been around the globe one too many times to not put into it. But listen, again, if you're one of those people, you live and die by this, and there's this battle and this battle. Yeah, okay, I can do that. But I mean, for me, and I'll ask the younger generation, because maybe you and I are just older, Lindsey, and jaded or something. Do you guys put anything to that?
No. I mean, it's preseason. I like it because it's football, and I'm going to watch it because it's football.
1,000%.
But it doesn't mean anything.
Flannel? Here it comes.
No.
When I hear the gas, some flannel's coming.
No, it's not that the results of the games, I don't take anything into that, but you look at a guy like Jack Campbell, who I think really proved that he belonged. Even Brian Branch in week 1, James Houston in the last game on Saturday, playing more snaps in a game than he ever really has, especially run snaps. I know it's against the backups and everything, and it doesn't count, but just seeing if certain guys belong. You mentioned Chase Cota. Could Chase Cota play his way onto a roster spot? I mean, you even look at in the first game, Julian Okwara had 3 sacks, but in the last game, he wasn't as good. Those are those type of fringe roster guys that you can maybe look at as they can either play their way onto a roster or off. Dylan Drummond, another one as well.
No, I get what you're saying, but, one of the things that I always come back to, you are kidding yourself if they don't know probably 97% of this roster right now. Like, they know.
Yes.
We can pretend that they don't know, and we can have this is up for grabs. They know what it's going to be. But to your point, in fairness to you, I agree. There are a couple spots that it's like, can Cota earn a spot? I think he should. One man's opinion, but we'll wait and see.
Yeah, and to your guys' point, Jared Goff, David Montgomery, Aiden Hutchinson, Penei Sewell, Kirby Joseph, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Cam Sutton, and more, countless more, they haven't played any preseason snaps. Frank Ragnow as well, not one. I actually looked that up. And you even look at other teams, even Patrick Mahomes is playing preseason snaps. So obviously the Lions and Dan Campbell maybe philosophically don't put a lot into preseason because those are some of your best players. Those are almost all of your best players, haven't played a single snap.
We have an interesting dynamic going on, and I want to know if you guys agree with me. I think there are two camps about the Detroit Lions right now. Of course, there are always some gray, some people in the middle, but you have one camp who, you guys saw the Legoland movie, right? Did you take the kids to go see the Legoland movie or anything? Or when you guys were younger, did you see the Legoland movie?
No.
You have a group of people that are singing, everything is awesome, everything is great. Don't worry. There is not a worry about a damn thing. And if you have the audacity to say something as ghastly as, maybe the Vikings are better than we thought. Hater. Man, Justin Fields caused some problems for the Lions. Justin Fields suck, and so do you. You can't say anything negative to these people. And it's not even being negative. It's like, guys, I get it. Maybe the Vikings weren't a 13-win team, but, we're just dismissing them as suck. I don't know if that's the right idea. Oh, listen to this guy, Stephen A. Smith. It's like, no. Can we talk like adults? So you have that side that's singing everything is awesome right now. And then you have the other side that the Lions suck and they always suck. Same old Lions. They're going to fall flat on their face. And if the Lions do anything, the slightest thing that could support we all saw it on social media over the weekend. So you know what I do? And I can't wait. One day, I'm going to take this freaking phone and I'm going to throw it as far as I can and just be done with it. When there is no announcement, I am just done with social media. I'm going to throw it and live on the beach and eat bonbons, okay? You guys saw it on Saturday. People, on social media, were doing you poor Lion fans.
Well, there were people in the chat saying, somebody explain what happened to the Lions this weekend.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm going to tell you what happened to the Lions this weekend. It was preseason and nobody played. That's what happened. That's exactly what happened. Jared Goff, how many snaps has Jared Goff played this preseason?
Zero.
None.
Not a one.
Not one.
So, you got to take
Do
it
you
from
want to
what
see
it's
the starters get some reps?
No, I don't care.
I don't really care, but I always, because I'm used to back in the day when I saw preseason games, you would see the starters have a possession. They would start the game off and they would try to march it down, and maybe they would get pulled. That's what I'm always used to seeing.
Yeah.
And even with someone in the chat, I think it was Katzenheimer. Kat said that he said Brady insists on playing snaps in the preseason. Well, that's Brady. I mean, that's the Patriot way. They're different. But a lot of times you would see some of the starters, they get 4 downs to do what they can do, or they get however long the possession lasts, and that's it.
I want people to think about that just for a second, because I get it. Tom Brady said that, or Aaron Rodgers is going to go out and play. It was just announced he's going to make his Jets debut. They said he's going to start the game. But now this is where I'm going to ask you to take a step back and listen to what Lindsey just said. Are you telling me that taking maybe 3 snaps is that beneficial to a player and what he may or may not do heading into the season? Like just take a step back. Because I know there are some people that they should get one series in. Okay, let's get 1 series in.
What good did that do?
But I took 3 snaps and then I went and sat down and had a hot dog and some popcorn. Is that the difference between having a great season and a good season? Or a good season and a bad season? So kind of put it in perspective. And Lindsey, you're right. I couldn't agree with you. It has changed. The dynamic has changed since you and I were growing. I would watch these exhibition games as a kid when there was a game on Channel 7. You were like, oh my gosh, wait a second. I get to watch the Dallas Cowboys offense. And you know what? Maybe they'd play a quarterback in the day. Like maybe they'd play a full quarter.
Right.
And so
back then they would.
Yeah, to your point, Spencer, like I'm going to watch it anyway. It's football. But holy crap, I get to watch the starting offense for the Steelers. Yeah. I get to watch it because, unfortunately, the Lions were never on national television in exhibition season. But you were excited. It's changed, man. There's too much money involved. There's 3 preseason games. Yes. It's probably going to go down. They are taking care of their employees now. Check that. I can't even say employees. Of their investments
assets,
now. Their assets. That's the way it goes. So, in a perfect world, you go out there. I don't. Now, this may sound like cocky Lion fans, so be it. I'm not worried about the stars on this team. I'm not.
Right.
What do I have to worry about Aiden Hutchinson?
Right.
With Jared Goff and that offensive line and the weapons he has around him, well, what do I have to worry about? I'm just not worried. Now, if 2 or 3 weeks in, the Lions get off, God forbid, an 0-3 start or something, sure as I'm sitting here, some idiot is going to say, well, don't you wish they had reps now? Yeah, that series would have been they probably would have been 2-1 if Jared Goff played a series in that Jag game. Think about it.
Yeah, but I don't even care if they do have a shaky, 2 or 3 game start. Hell, they were 1-6 last year.
It's the long game. I'm with you. I'm with you.
But I can tell you, if they do have a couple of games where they're shaky, people are going to implode. We're going to see Lions fans' heads explode right in front of us. Same old Lions.
There it is. You know what's going to happen.
Go. I knew it. You suckers. You saps. Fell for it again. You did it again. Right. I can see it.
I'm with you. Long game, baby. 17 games. Deep breath. I think this team's a heck of a lot better than they have been in the past. I think just look at the roster, man, and depth.
But you can already see people starting to shy away. I think we're going to win 9 games. Maybe 10. Come on, man. 12 plus, baby. 12 plus.
All right, who's up next? We have a special guest coming, but first...
a message from Swiss Insurance.
Good? Did I do good there?
Absolutely, you did a fantastic job. And if Lions fans' heads actually explode if they get off to a slow start, you can get Swiss Insurance. Because now that summer's here, it is important to make sure you are properly covered. Whether it's a grad party or just a group of people over to enjoy the lake or pool, Your liability exposure increases significantly in summertime. Let the Swiss Insurance Group review your coverage and make sure you are protected from an unexpected loss. Check us out at swissins.com or call Mark today at 248-800-4177. Again, that is 248-800-4177, Swiss Insurance.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids, all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically enter for your chance to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice, courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. That's right, 2 cars, one for you, one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime, sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Let one of our talented, award-winning stylists make you look handsome and clean. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Mr. Kearney and the Academy of Warren are back. They have a brand new state-of-the-art Sports Dome fieldhouse that has regulation basketball courts, a volleyball court, and a soccer field. It can also be used for 7-on-7 football. And of course, they have K through 8 activities, including AM and PM latchkey, small classroom sizes, Learning Street, futuristic media centers, free breakfast and lunch, Houghton Mifflin curriculum, academic games, and K through 8 athletics. Don't forget that Ermanni and Edwards will be broadcasting live from their carnival on August 24th, so you can come and meet the staff and explore your child's new school. The Academy of Warren is now accepting new enrollment, so go to academyofwarren.net to get your child enrolled.
Flannel, I got something for you. Okay? No, I'm serious. I got something for you. No, you're giving me the look right now like I'm about to rip you or something, okay?
No.
I swear I'm not, okay?
Go ahead.
That jump throw by falling out of bounds in the Cards-Chiefs game, did you guys see that?
Yeah.
Mahomes' sick throw?
Yeah, man.
Oh, yeah.
He's sick.
I mean,
He really is. He is sick.
Well, he's one of those guys. You know how everybody, when you're growing up in your neighborhood, you had a guy that could play every sport that was good at it?
Yeah.
That's kind of what Patrick Mahomes
No,
is.
good call.
Because I watched his high school basketball highlights, and the dude looked like he could be a Division I basketball player back then.
The Tigers drafted him.
In baseball?
Yeah.
Yeah, he can play basketball, baseball, football. I mean, he's one of those guys, man. Just one of those just ultra-talented guys.
Yeah.
He is, sometimes there are guys, and hopefully we'll hear from our next guest because we brought up his team. Well, he wasn't there yet, but a team that he played for. The Rams were another one of those teams, the greatest show on turf.
Man.
If you told me that team was only going to win one Super Bowl, I'd have called you batshit crazy.
Yeah, that was sick.
They were so much fun to watch. And again, you guys are probably too young, but Lindsey, that was just a fun team to watch. Even when Warner left and Mark Bulger went there, and that poor guy got his head beat in, man. Jeez, oh Pete, did he get his head beat in. But they were just, sometimes you just like to watch a team. And the Rams are kind of like the Chiefs are kind of like the modern day Rams right now. I just like to watch the Chiefs because of that quarterback. I really do.
Right, and you're exactly right. The Rams were you ran home to watch the Rams play. Regardless, it wasn't my team.
Yep.
But I was like, man, I got to go watch these guys, these receivers. They have Marshall Faulk in the backfield. I mean, it was just a fun group to watch, and they got up and down the field like no other, man.
We grew up in an era where honestly, and Lindsey, I know you can because you hate the team, like the Fox 4 o'clock game was always an NFC East game. Always. It was Dallas and Washington. It was Dallas and the Giants. It was the Giants and Philly. It just always seemed like the 4 o'clock game on Fox was an NFC East game. And then all of a sudden, man, the Rams were on. It seemed the Rams were on every single week because, I mean, it was like the NFL smart. That was a fun team to watch. And, you know, again, another one of those teams you look back and you go, how'd they only win that one Super Bowl?
I know, man. It just – and I remember, I told you, I remember where I was when they lost to the Pats. We were on the team playing with the Lakers. And we just – it was a foregone conclusion they were going to win.
Oh, absolutely.
We were like, yeah, the Rams are going to win this one again. And then we started getting reports like, oh, I think something – I don't know if they fumbled or something freaky happened. And the Patriots got the ball and they marched down and they kicked the field goal to win. And I was like, are you kidding me?
I'll never forget Tom Brady's interview in that game as well. As they asked him how it happened, and he said, I never would have won this Super Bowl if I didn't play that series in the exhibition season. It was the first thing. And I've been told, I've got an advanced copy of his Hall of Fame speech, and he said, I wouldn't be here right now if I didn't take those 3 snaps in that one exhibition game. So it was amazing. But what a great Super Bowl that was. It's too bad you guys were on the plane.
On
It was
the
just
damn plane.
like you're sitting there the whole time going, wow, they got a chance to win it. And then they won the game. You know, I mean, it was just one of those games, man. It was fantastic Super Bowl. So, no, you know what, Flannel? I know this will give you the opportunity to pimp the next edition of the Patrick Mahomes Show. We changed the whole set here. We turned it into like worship service. So let everybody know when the next worship service is.
About 105, 110 here. And when I get home, I actually have to light candles and just like look up at my Patrick Mahomes shrine. I mean,
you burn sage too?
Oh, absolutely. Sage, everything. I got the works. But to be fair, in all seriousness, Patrick Mahomes, he's had the best 5-year start to a career of any quarterback in history, and I think we would all agree that it's not a hot take to call him the most talented, best thrower of the football that has ever walked the earth. And he has the results and the team stats.
I'm not going to go that far. He's the most talented. I'm not going to say he's the best thrower because there have been some guys that could.
Oh, sure.
Come on, man. You can't discount Dan Marino and guys like that. And John Elway.
Can I put him in the context of what you first said? Like, if you look at the first 5 years of his career, like sick. I'm not a legacy guy when a guy has many years left, okay? Because you know what? To me, let me give you an example. Tiger Woods is phenomenal. Mm-hmm. Tiger Woods is one of the best ever, period, end of story.
Right.
Circa 2005, 2006, people were saying Tiger Woods is the greatest golfer of all time. The greatest golfer of all time, it's no debate. Tiger Woods himself said, do you know what you measure a golfer by? The amount of majors he's won. So I'm going to use Tiger Woods' definition, okay? Back then, we thought that Tiger Woods was going to blow past 18. Mm-hmm. But blow past it. Well, it didn't happen.
Nope.
Right? Through one reason or another, injury, obviously off the course
scandal.
Stuff. Yeah, so we can't, so going back, I use Tiger Woods' definition. Tiger Woods' own definition is you are judged by the amount of majors you won. Okay, if I'm going to use your definition, then Jack Nicklaus is still the greatest golfer of all time. You know what I mean? So with that being said, if you and I have this conversation 10 years from now, and I'm not even saying he matches Brady's Super Bowls, but he picks up 5 Super Bowls, we can have a legitimate conversation about everything you're saying. If he keeps up this trajectory, but right now, I guess it's too early, even in his career, to try to qualify legacy.
I mean, is it fair, though, to say that he's the one quarterback playing right now, and probably in the past few years, that you could see maybe passing Tom Brady's accomplishments?
Winning 7?
I think Super Bowls will be hard.
I mean, I don't think he has to win 7, but
when you say accomplishment, what do you all entail in that? Because that's part of his
yards, touchdowns, all of that.
Statistical.
Well, I mean, the reason why Tom Brady, even though I'm not as high on him as some, his accomplishments say that he's the GOAT because they just pretty much, he's got the longevity. He even has those great seasons, especially starting in 2007. So if I could see Patrick Mahomes maybe getting a couple more MVPs, a couple more Super Bowl MVPs, passing Tom Brady and all of the counting stats. I think that's what it would take. If he has maybe 10 more excellent seasons, more Super Bowls, more MVPs, then I think by that time he would have passed Tom Brady in accomplishments. And I think he's a better quarterback overall. I think that there's no question about it.
You know what's interesting? This is for you, Lindsey, because I'm a firm believer as I've gotten older. I think generations kind of stick up for the guys that they watch coming up. You know what I mean?
Right.
You will never convince me that Michael Jordan isn't the best basketball player ever. It's never going to happen.
Oh, yeah,
Don't argue. Like it's a waste of time.
Yeah.
You're just never going to convince me.
I'm like that too.
Sorry, much respect to a former teammate of yours, Kobe, like assassin.
Yeah.
I mean,
love Kobe.
Much respect to LeBron. Seriously,
Yeah,
but
I'm
Michael
that
Jordan's
way
the
too.
best player of all time.
Yeah.
Period. I'm not going to hear. Our generation, and I won't speak for you. I was Joe Montana is the best quarterback I've ever
Me
seen.
too.
Guy. I was, and I can tell you the definitive moment where that changed. It was the Super Bowl against the Falcons and 28-3.
When he came back,
and when I watched Brady bring them back, like I'm not joking. I sat back and I go, okay, the Joe Montana argument's got to end, and it's got to end today. Like that's like I was like, I'm being that grumpy old man now that says, you kids didn't see Joe Montana.
Right.
I mean, I can hear my old man going, Otto Graham, Sammy Baugh. Tom Brady's the best. Like that's it. I can't, I have to give it to him. I can see if you bring up somebody else. For me, it's Tom Brady. You're going to have to do a lot to supplant that.
Yeah. When he won 5, when he got to the 5th one, I was like, yeah, he's the guy. Because I was a Montana guy.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
But when he got to 5 and then he kept going, I was like, yeah, he's definitely the guy. So I just, in football to me, and I know it's a team sport, all of them are team sports, but you got to get that Super Bowl, man. You can have all those accolades, you can MVPs and yards and touchdowns. You got to get that Super Bowl.
Which Mahomes has got 2 of them and 2 MVPs in 5 years. 2 Super Bowl MVPs in 5 years.
Do you know who is
got 5 more to go.
Do you know who is critically underrated, especially by the younger generation, specifically because of what Lindsey said? Dan Marino.
Definitely.
Dan Marino
Definitely.
was sick. Dan Marino was unlike anything we had seen when he went over 5,000 yards.
Yeah.
Nobody goes over 5,000 yards. Back then, it was a big deal, and that's why it took so many years for somebody else to do it. But to Lindsey's point, and I agree with you, Lindsey, both things can be true. Dan Marino's critically underrated, and Dan Marino's critically underrated because he didn't win that Super Bowl.
Yep.
Period.
I mean, still to this day, I would say his 84 season where he had 48 touchdown passes, breaking the record that was previously 36, is the greatest quarterback season of all time. It's just in the Super Bowl, they got their head taken off by the 49ers. That's
38-16.
38-16, yeah.
And I mean, and again, there's another example, going back to something you said. Now, you tell me, Dan Marino, at that age, with that team, with the legendary Don Shula as your coach.
They were going back.
They're going back. And the next time they were back, by golly, they were winning. And it never happened again. Never. And the dude, seriously, Dan Marino, to your point, like Flannel, he did things that we didn't see. Whether it be his passing yards, whether it be his 48 touchdowns. And when you have that conversation about best quarterbacks, I think Dan Marino's name at least needs to be mentioned. But because of those rings, man, people are going to degrade him. That's just the way it is. Do we do that to Barry Sanders?
No. I
don't think so either.
No.
I agree with you. I think Barry Sanders is like a transcendent. You still see his highlight videos everywhere. I mean, think about it. The NFL still puts out highlight packages all the time of Barry's wacky runs. And the guy's been retired for 24 years.
But I think it's different with quarterbacks because quarterback is the guy.
Yeah. Fair statement.
That's true. And what else is true is the Randy Wise Golf Tour is live and in effect. They were just at D-Max for his golf outing last week. How would you like to see famous athletes like Jim Harbaugh and Darren McCarty and Braylon Edwards play golf with average Joes? Thanks to Randy Wise Automotive and Woodward Sports, you will be able to do just that. It's the Randy Wise Celebrity Golf Tour. Make the wise choice and pay attention to Woodward Sports for more info, as we'll be dropping episodes, one coming up from the Darren McCarty golf outing. So make sure you guys go check it out. Thanks to Randy Wise.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
Can't get enough Woodward Sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer. A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man-meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports. The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
How would you like to win a $100K Vegas getaway? Take your closest friends and live it up in the city that never sleeps. It's the Cintron Energy. Drink it and live it. Purchase a 24-pack today and enter to win the $100K Vegas getaway at drinkcintron.com/Vegas and buy your Cintron at your local Meijer store. Cintron, the healthier energy drink with great taste and the choice of people who desire to look good, feel great, and be the best version of themselves. So make sure you go to drinkcintron.com/Vegas to enter for your chance to win.
So, I thought it was interesting over the weekend, and I got a little backstory, but I'll go with the lead first. Aiden Hutchinson says he thanks the Jags for not taking him #1 overall. All right, can we go in the let's be honest machine for just a second? Let's go in the let's be honest machine for a second. And were you guys working here yet? Flannel, Spence, Were you guys working when that draft happened?
Yep.
Yes.
There were a lot of people, whether they want to admit it today or not, is inconsequential. There were a lot of people that didn't like Aiden Hutchinson.
I remember.
And chances are they were probably non-Michigan fans, but there were a lot of people out there that didn't want Aiden Hutchinson and said, you don't draft a guy like that, Lindsey, that high in the draft, right? We can be honest about that, right?
Yep.
And there was some concern on the flip side from some of the people that were all in on Aiden. And I think after watching him in his college career, I don't know how you couldn't be, especially the way he finished this season. There were some people that were really worried that he was going to be going, #1 overall to the Jags.
That's what I thought. I thought he was going #1 for sure.
Yeah.
I didn't put him on any of my draft boards for the Lions or anything because I thought he was going #1.
As Aiden said, everything works out the way it does for a reason. He was destined to be a Lion, and if you guys didn't see why he was drafted so high, you're not paying attention. I don't think anybody out there now is going to make that argument. And to me, I think the scary thing about Aiden Hutchinson, and I know I said this when I was out at camp a couple weeks ago, it's not only what he is, he's still scratching the surface.
Most definitely.
Lindsey, he's scratching the surface.
But that's when you know you got something special.
Yeah.
When you see a young guy that, you watched him at the beginning and he was learning, he was getting his footing, he was learning what the speed of the game was, and once he got it, you were like, holy shit. It's a monster, And I always watch. When I watch defensive linemen, I watch the guys because there are certain guys that just jump off the screen. And he's one of those guys, and it just looks like they're in a different game, And he's one of those guys, man. And when you get one of those guys, you start surrounding him with other pieces. You're creating something special, and I think that's what the Lions are doing.
We have a strange vortex in this state. You don't need me to tell you, but we have this strange vortex between the Michigan front and the Michigan State front. And oftentimes, I think you know as well as I do. So let me go back to another guy that particular year, Kenneth Walker III. Mm-hmm. It is fascinating to me how many people dogged Kenneth Walker III when he was at Michigan State and wait till he faces a real defense, la-di-dee, la-di-da. We know how that worked out. And yet, fast forward a couple of years, and you know what people are saying? well, you have to remember Mel Tucker's big year was because he had a generational player.
Yeah.
Wait a second,
now he's
asshole.
generational.
You said 2 years ago that wait till he faces a defense and, things like. And I think the same thing going back to Aiden Hutchinson. He's not that good. Sparty's saying he's not that good. Now that he's with the Lions, I love Aiden. And I'm so glad we got Aiden. So we have a weird dynamic like this. I can tell you from a college perspective, just to tell you my perspective. So one of the coolest things that's ever happened to me, I'm a Heisman voter, right? Like, as a guy who grew up loving college football and watching the Heisman show, that was the first time I voted for a Michigan or Michigan State player, like in 10 years. And you had some guys along the way, like Spence. I had a bunch of guys say, hey, man, you got to show Javon Ringer some love. Javon Ringer was a heck of a running back at Michigan State. And I mean, he was integral to that team, I think, in 08. He wasn't a top 3 player in the nation, man. He just wasn't. He was, and Jabril Peppers, who can we all say now there was some weird hype machine that got behind Jabril Peppers that made him a finalist in 2016?
Yeah.
Not good college player. You could even make, Flannel, I'll ask you. What? You could even make the argument, great college player.
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
Top 3 Heisman finalists? Absolutely not.
No, probably not. He did so many things well, but he didn't. I don't know. He was kind of that jack of all trades,
master of none.
I don't know if he was a master of none. I mean, he was.
What was his best trait? Probably his returning.
I don't know about returning. I would say as far as being like that all-around safety who was like a tackling machine.
The Viper position.
Hey, the Viper position. I mean, he was pretty damn good that year. He was in the backfield. No, he was constantly in the backfield. He was all over the field. He didn't really get a ton of interceptions. When he was lined up on offense, he made a lot of big plays. But no, his numbers, they didn't really jump at you, except when you look at, oh my God, he has this many yards, this many tackles, interceptions, tackles for loss, sacks. He did a little bit of everything. But no, he shouldn't have been a Heisman finalist. I can admit that.
So, but I hope you understand the point. Like people, I got dog from Spartan fans. I got dog from Michigan. But like in 2021. I had no problem putting both of those guys on my ballot. None. I had zero problem. And quite frankly, I went in the order of Aiden, for what it's worth. I went Aiden and then K9. The Ohio State game to me, I'm sorry. The Heisman's something different. Yeah. If you want to tell everybody, I am the man, you got to do it all the time, especially in the big games. And the entire team didn't answer the bell that Ohio State game, so it dropped them. But that didn't make me take them out altogether. But my point was, that was the first time in my life in 10 years where I said, okay, you have a Michigan and Michigan State player that legitimately belong on the ballot. And Lindsey, you know what, is you look at their career, and it's only 1 year in. I'm not going to become a hypocrite and say that they both established themselves and, discuss their legacy only a year in. But both of those guys have gone to the National Football League and proved that they belong and had incredible moments in their first year.
Right, and that's half the battle.
Yeah.
That's half the battle right there. Now they can start proving that they are above average and prove that they are elite, and now you're talking about guys that are cornerstones, regardless to how we look at guys in college, because a lot of times, like you said, there are a lot of guys that were really great college players that just, in the league for whatever reason, just couldn't find their niche, And we see that all the time. I mean, it happens every year in the draft.
I will argue with just about anybody that Tim Tebow was one of the greatest college football players I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm. Right, exactly.
I will argue with anybody. I agree. I have no problem. Another guy from when we were younger, and I say this all the time, it's the best college football team I've ever seen. Tommy Frazier. Remember the quarterback at Nebraska?
Touchdown, Tommy.
Listen, it's sickening. Yes. You knew there was no way that guy was going to the National Football League. No way. And it's too bad he never got a chance to kind of prove it, because I think he had some circulation problems or something, right? Didn't something happen?
He had some problems. But he'd probably be better fit today than back in the day.
100%.
Back then, it was purely pocket passing.
He was that team was sick. They were sick, but you knew he's not going in the league. Right. This a guy that ain't going to the league. So no, I agree. I'm getting your back there. Tim Tebow was, even that year that he started for the Broncos, remember he took them to the playoff and everything and hit that big pass? That wasn't going to work in the National Football League, right. Man. Mm-hmm. It wasn't going to work.
Yeah, you had those certain guys that were outliers, like what's his name? Doug Flutie was an outlier.
Yeah, sure.
You know, guys that had success in college that were.
That's a great example.
He was a phenomenal college player, but it transferred, and he was pretty good in the NFL. He wasn't great, but he was pretty good.
Yeah,
it's like what Darren McFadden did at Arkansas.
Great.
When he played for, he was unstoppable.
He was unstoppable. He really was.
And then he got to the league, and I don't know if it's the miles that they put on him,
but he was decent.
He was decent
in the NFL too.
But he wasn't.
No, he wasn't like that.
He was that year at Arkansas. He was transcendent.
Yeah.
That was that particular year. What year was that? 06, 07,
I think so,
forget.
yeah.
But like they were must-see television.
Yes,
like
Arkansas
is on. I gotta go watch McFadden.
Yeah,
because he was taking direct snaps going to the house.
Oh yeah.
Lindsey, could we make a comparison with some of the college players, like the guys who are tweeners? Great college basketball player, but there isn't a quote-unquote spot for him in the league. Is that an apt comparison?
Hunter Dickinson.
It is now, but you know what though? That used to be a big problem. Like when guys, you were kind of black marked if you didn't have a position. You would be like, he's a tweener, and you really wouldn't get looked at much. Now that's not a bad thing. Now the league is full of tweeners.
Yeah,
it is. All everybody want to play now. Is
not
positionless basketball. That's all you hear. You know, so it's kind of different in the NBA now.
Yeah. Well, you know what? We're looking forward to it. I think I can speak for everybody. I'm pretty happy Aiden Hutchinson's here with the Lions, and I'm glad he is too. It seems like a perfect fit, and he is no doubt about it one of the spiritual leaders of this team. Speaking of spirituality, don't forget 1:10 today, the Mahomes worship service. Flannel will be leading the sermon today. It's going to be a very short sermon, and he's asking everybody out there to say 10 Hail Mahomes. All right? 10 Hail Mahomes before you walk into the sanctuary.
I need absolute silence while I worship Mahomes. Absolute silence.
Absolute silence. Yeah, I'm not going to be doing that. I'm not going to be worshiping Mahomes, but I do have to work out later, and the best place to do it at is Planet Fitness, because Planet Fitness is the home of the judgment-free zone where you can work out in a non-intimidating, judgment-free atmosphere. The gym that has always been known for being clean is now cleaner than ever. You can get a full-body workout in just 30 minutes in the 30-minute circuit, and all memberships include fitness training. You get all this for just $10 a month, or you can upgrade to the Black Card for $24.99 and get use of all the amenities. Planet Fitness, you can join in club or online. It's Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Calling all landscapers. This is Darren McCarty. I'm at Outdoor Equipment Co. How would you like to landscape like a legend? How about a bad boy zero turn? And even a chainsaw. And even a weed whipper. So register today at OutdoorEquipCo.com, and even you could have DMAC on your landscaping crew.
Can't get enough Woodward Sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer.
Play, practice, and party at 5 Iron Golf, located inside of the Cambria Hotel. Downtown's newest sports bar has 13 TrackMan simulators, certified instructors, and a full bar and restaurant. Mention promo code Woodward at checkout for 50% off your first visit, and visit 5irongolf.com to tee up good times. Woodward Sports Network is also participating in a Thursday night golf league on the simulators with fans. The league is hosted by 5 Iron Golf and co-presented by Mark White & Associates and Long Drink Alcoholic Beverage. That is 5 Iron Golf. lionspreseason.com.
All right, so you guys want to hear an old guy's conversation? You know what I just said to Lindsey? Poor Lindsey, he doesn't deserve this. I was like, hey, Lindsey, have you ever tried yoga? True story. Like, okay, so I'm going to tell you something. Like, you get a little older and your body gets the wear and tear. They're just things you can't do anymore. Like, Lindsey, I'm not joking. This yoga stuff is kicking my butt, and I love every second of it. I'm not joking.
No, I believe you. Look, I just looked at a couple of yoga classes and I was like, there's no way I'm doing it. I'm going to dislocate my hip, my back, my everything. It looks too. Maybe I need probably the beginner's yoga.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah, because I'm not into the what is it called, the downward dog.
Yeah,
all that.
There's goat yoga.
Listen, my wife, she got these mats and we're doing this online thing, and the first time I sat on the mat, I thought to myself, okay, I'm going to do this for 37 seconds, call it miserable, fire up my smoker, I need a whole pulled pork. The whole day. And then, I'm not joking, about 10 minutes in, I'm like, oh my gosh. It's just, for you older people out there, trust me, our joints can't take much more. Pretty good. I have no idea why that came up. I just wanted to share it with you. So college football starts on Saturday. Did you know? I mean, seriously, how many people are even aware of that? Because around, you know how
Week 0.
Yeah, you know how it is around here. Everybody's thinking about Michigan State.
Yeah.
Michigan State starts next Friday, Central Michigan. I'll be up there. Spence, you going?
I don't think so. I don't know.
All right.
I want to.
And then, of course, Michigan, as Flannel well knows, starts on Saturday. But college football starts this Saturday. And Spence, you said earlier, and I agree, when the exhibition games are on, I don't care if it's on NFL Network. I don't care if it's the Saints and the Jags or whatever. I'm going to be watching it.
Yeah.
And Lindsey, that's the way I am about college football. I mean, okay, there's a college football game on, and it doesn't have to be Notre Dame and Navy. There are other games coming on throughout the day where, I already announced to my family, hey, guys, Dad's doing nothing today. I'll go to the cider mill in the morning. The cider mill opens in the morning. Right. I'll go to the cider mill in the morning, and then after that, you know what? I'm just going to be sitting down watching college football all day. And that's, to me, Lindsey, I think that's the difference now between when we were younger. This area in particular, I know you grew up in Mississippi where I'm sure there was always an SEC slant and everything. People around here now, it was always about what's going on in our backyard. All right? Mm-hmm. But college football has become such a nationwide game now. I think fans around here are more educated and in tune with what's going on in the SEC or what's going on in the now Pac-4 or the ACC or whatever the case may be, where, for a lot of people out there, week 0 is a special day for people because it means college football's back.
Right. I mean, I can watch anybody play college football.
Amen.
Late at night when those West Coast games are on, and I'm like, man, let me check this out. Who's playing tonight? And so it's just a different type of excitement about it. Football is a little different. I can watch any football game just about. It's hard for me to watch the Cowboys unless I know they're going to lose. So I love that. I just have a deep down hate for the Cowboys that'll never go away.
That's fair.
So I struggle watching them. But anybody else, I pretty much can watch. But I love watching I like watching the no-name colleges play. And it's just a different feel about college football.
I have had such a fun time. So for 14 years, I've done Wayne State games, and the GLIAC is obviously the best in D2. And the amount of guys that they produced, I mean, I don't even know what to tell you. It's tremendous. It's college football, and you're going to some of these places. I'm going to tell you what they do at Grand Valley State, that rivals. They're all across campus, game day, tailgate, and everything. Yeah, I'll put that up against a lot of major colleges that I've been to. That experience, and
Grand Valley's just about a Division I school.
Oh, they are. They're a machine, and and the crazy thing is, Ferris has been even better the last couple of years, obviously. But having the opportunity to see those guys, I remember my first year, I saw this guy named Joik Bell. Shout out to Joik, and Joik used to be here at Woodward, and obviously played for the Detroit Lions. Watching that guy, I told all the guys that I was doing the line stuff with, I said, listen, there's this guy that plays for Wayne State. He's going to be in the NFL. And the first thing that you hear when people, sure, they're
Of course.
slugger and all that. And then if you remember when he went to camp, people were drooling over him. And it wasn't just around here. People were drooling over this kid. And I know from your vantage point, you had to go through the same thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, even when I was scouting, watching the mid-major or low-major guys or guys that weren't highly touted coming out, when you go see them, like you said, you saw him and you were like, oh, wow. I remember the first time I went to see Damian Lillard.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and this is like when he kind of exploded on the scene. He was scoring a lot. And I went where northern Colorado playing Weber State. You know, nobody's at the game. It's probably 500 people in the stands. And I'm sitting there watching him, and I'm like, holy shit, dude, this kid is really good. And I'm, you know, finished watching the game. I think he had like 37. And I go back to do my report, and I'm like, we'll never get him. We had like the 10th or 12th pick. I was like, we'll never get him. Best guard in the draft, mark him off. We'll never see him. And truly enough, he never dropped.
Isn't that amazing?
And the same thing with C.J. McCollum. Now, C.J. got hurt that year and didn't come out, but he came out the next year, and he ended up dropping to 10. But he easily could have been a top 5 pick.
Isn't that, you know, and I know you got some MAC background as well. When I was doing MAC basketball for a few seasons in the late 90s, you know, back then it was starting to change. You would see more and more scouts show up to some of these games, whether it be doing football, because I was at Toledo, doing football, doing basketball, but like seeing like Wally Zerbiak.
Right.
Like the first time I saw Wally Zerbiak, I'm like, okay, I don't know what kind of pro he's going to be, but he's a pro.
Right.
That I can tell you,
Right.
and that's how, to me, that's how things have changed. I saw, for the hockey fans out there, I saw Connor McDavid at 15 years old. He got the special exemption to go into the OHL. I shit you not, I saw his first game. I called my buddies, and I'm not usually reaction guy or overreaction guy. Like, let's talk about legacy now. And I go, guys, seriously, I think I just saw probably the best player I've ever seen, like, at that age. And, I mean, obviously he's turned into the best player in the National Hockey League. Right. So, to me, there's something fun about doing that. And the scouts, they're not short-sighted now, Lindsey. You know that better than anybody.
Totally different now.
Before, it was like, well, I'm not going to go there. I'm going to go to Starkville this week, and I'll be in Gainesville next week. And I hear there's this kid up in East Lansing. I'll go up there. These guys are going places now, man, and they're finding players.
Well, dude, there's a high school basketball player right now. He just reclassed up. His name is Cooper Flagg. When I tell you, this is one of the best high school players I've ever seen in my life. Dude, some of the stuff I'm watching this kid do, I'm like, there's no way this kid is 16, 17. He's like 6'10", 6'9", 6'10". Can do everything.
Really?
And is a
Where's he play?
He's from Maine.
Really? Basketball hotbed of Maine, right?
That's what I'm saying. Like, this dude, Sean, he right now, and I don't know what type of pro. I got a feeling he's going to be a damn good pro. But watching him in high school is not fair. Like,
no kidding.
Oh, and he's so dominant in high school, he reclassed up so he can get to college early. This kid is, I'm telling you, he's a monster.
No kidding. Now I got to go see it.
Cooper Flagg. You can't remember you can't forget the name.
Yeah.
Cooper Flagg.
Yeah, you're not going to forget that.
Dude is a absolute beast.
How tall is he?
Like 6'9".
Jeez, oh Pete.
But he plays like he's like a wing. He's a guard wing, like because he can handle, he can shoot the three, freakishly athletic, blocks everything that comes around the rim, dunks everything. He does everything. Like I've watched him for a year because when I first heard about him, I was like, let me watch him. Everybody's all the hype about it. And I kept watching. I'm like, oh shit. He's the real deal. So then a month ago, he was at a camp with one of the pros. He was working one of the pro camps. It's the guy who played with the Celtics.
Paul Pierce?
Not Paul Pierce, the younger kid with the Celtics.
Oh, Grant Williams?
Not him. The dude that's about to get $300 million. The other one.
Jaylen Brown.
Oh,
Jason Tatum.
Tatum. He was at Tatum's camp. And so word got out. They were doing some one-on-ones. and he was destroying one of the NBA players, like to the point where the guy wanted to fight him. And so word got out, and I'm like, I can see that, because the guy he was playing against, I'm not going to disrespect him by calling his name, but the guy he was playing against probably 6'3", 6'4". This kid's 6'9".
Just eating him up.
Destroying him.
Oh, I love it. I love that stuff. Gosh, there's something fun about. And like you
Somebody
said,
in the chat put his name up there.
well, and I'm not going to be same. I'm going to use the same logic as you. I'm not going to be disrespectful to the guys that it didn't happen, that you heard about,
right.
You know, that it never came to fruition and everything.
Right.
But there's something fun about seeing that stuff.
Yes.
You know, to me, it ties in with the college football angle. I mean, man, it's college football. I'm going to see talent. I'm going to see good players. I'm fired up for Saturday. Mm-hmm. I know what I'm doing from about, well, really early, because I'm going to the local cider mill first. From 2 o'clock on, man, I'm watching college football all day. Yes, it's not the big boys. I get it, but something special about college football starting. And for we losers out there, it's only 5 days away, so I'm excited about that.
I'm excited too, man. Week 0, you know, if you're this excited about Week 0, though, you might need some help, and we got the place for you. SMA, or the Sports Marketing Agency, helps spread awareness about mental health and substance abuse. Their new podcast, This is the S Word, helps fight the stigma about seeking help. So if you or someone you know is struggling, make sure you head to thesportsma.com and get the help you deserve.
Big Boy Strawberry Fest has officially arrived, and we're here to show you the very best flavors of the season. Satisfy your sweet tooth with our deep-fried vanilla Oreos, strawberry hot fudge cake, and a slice of our classic strawberry pie. But that's not all. Cool off on a refreshing summer splash salad, or savor the flavors of our chicken Caesar wrap and strawberry bacon chicken wrap. And for breakfast lovers, don't miss out on our strawberry hotcakes or our mouth-watering red velvet waffle. Strawberry Fest is something for everyone. Celebrate the sweet season with us at Big Boy.
Hey, this is Mr. Kearney, Chief Academic Officer at Academy Warren. I want to welcome you to the brand new field house. The state-of-the-art facility has a regulation basketball court, volleyball court, soccer field. It can be used for 7-on-7 football. Our K-8 academic features AM, PM, latchkey, small classroom sizes, Learning Street, futuristic media center, free breakfast and lunch, Holton Mifflin curriculum, academic games, K-8 athletics, and more. Enroll today at academywarren.net.
Lindsey, did you have a rooting interest when you were a kid, speaking of college football, where you grew up? You were pretty much between Mississippi State and Mississippi. Did you have a rooting interest? Did you have a horse in the race?
Not really.
No?
No. I think when I was younger, I didn't really care. I was more of a fan of players in college.
Yeah.
So when Florida State came on, I would always love this because they had a lot of talent. And they would always beat up on the Mississippi teams.
Yeah.
All the other SEC teams used to murder us. We were good, but we couldn't compete with those other dudes, man. They were different. I'm like, I don't know what these other guys are doing in the SEC, but our teams need to start doing it.
Yeah.
But we just couldn't keep up with them, man.
Our generation, it's so funny that you bring up Florida State, because there's a few year span where there were just a bunch of guys that were either a Florida State fan or the U. Right. And I was one of those guys. I loved the U. Loved. Right. I mean, it just, and for you guys that are younger, I mean, the 30 for 30 series is awesome, but the U is one of the, I don't think people, that was real. That was those guys were like the international bad boys. And I still think it's so funny that at one point in time, there was a game that people openly referred to as Catholics versus convicts.
Yes.
That was real.
Did y'all see that?
And you know what?
30 by 30. You didn't see that?
They all owned it.
Oh yeah, F Notre Dame for that, by the way.
They
F Notre Dame for that.
Like all those guys with the U, you would think, man, what are you disrespecting me for? Calling me a convict? They're like, damn right. Yeah. And we're coming up to rape and pillage. Yeah. And it isn't going to be pretty. I mean, that's the way it. And it was funny because a bunch of those guys came and played for the Lions. Like one of my Benny Blades. Mm-hmm. Love Benny. And Benny came back on one of those homecoming weekends a couple years ago. The first thing he says to me, he's like, did you see that for 30 for 30? I mean, it just, I was like, yeah, Benny, I love. But no, to that point, like Lindsey, for a lot of people, that was, I mean, even a kid in Mississippi State or a kid up here in Livonia, Michigan, Yeah, you couldn't help but get drawn into
Right.
that Florida State Miami thing for a few years there, man.
It was so much talent down there. I mean, every year you knew you were going to see 3 or 4 or 5 of those guys playing in the NFL next year.
Yeah.
And it never stopped, you know? And then, of course, Alabama and Auburn and all those guys start pillaging the talent from Florida. And now it's kind of, you know, they're the dominant ones now.
Yeah.
You know, because Alabama's always been good, but now, you know, they've just taken it to another level.
That's incredible. You know, and then you look, I mean, that incredible era, and now we're dealing with Georgia. You know, and Georgia's on the precipice of something historic. You know, winning 3 in a row?
Yes, that's...
Are you kidding me? It's insane. No, it's just funny because I always tell people this. Like, I still remember vividly the first time I went to the Big House. Like, and newsflash, I think most of you know this, I am not a Michigan fan. Okay? At all. Like, I can't stress that enough. Go green.
Go white.
There you go. So, with that being said, dude, it was almost like, I'm not being funny, it was almost like a religious experience. I'll stick around for the sermon later on today. All right, Flannel? No, I'm not joking. Like, I went there, it was, I think Michigan was 2 and Iowa was 3 or something like that. And you walk in that place, and it doesn't look big from the outside, but you walk in, and you're just standing there, like, looking at it in awe. And Michigan won on a last play of the game field goal. Mike Gillette beat Iowa. The place went nuts and everything. It was a phenomenal experience. And, honestly, I thought to myself, college football cannot get any better than this.
Right.
It can't. Even going up to East Lansing the next year, and I watched Michigan State beat Michigan, and they won the Big Ten and went to the Rose Bowl that year. And then I went to the South to see a game. And I as a guy that is from there, I say this to people all the time. Like, it's a totally different. People don't understand. They really don't understand what a different experience it is down there, man.
I'm gonna tell you something else. Speaking of like experience, so when I was younger, and Jerry Rice was at Mississippi Valley, and they would come and play Jackson State, and this is when Mississippi Valley was averaging like 50, 60 points a game. Like they were, Jerry Rice was by far the best receiver we'd ever seen. And because they would have articles about him in the paper, as little kids, we would read about him and we'd just be excited to come watch him. So when they came to town, man, I'm talking about the arena would be packed, standing room only. And we're little kids, so we would go down to the front just to watch him because Jerry Rice was one of the only players that everything on him was perfect. Like his pants were perfect, his socks were perfect, he had the towel hanging off. I mean, his wristbands, everything was so neat and clean. And dude, he put on a show. Like it was unbelievable. It was like we were watching like a god almost. We were sitting there like, dude, do you see what Jerry Rice is doing to us? And so some of the guys that he actually played against, a couple of them were like police officers in our hometown now. Yeah. And they would come play pickup ball and people would tease them. Like, yeah, you weren't doing that when Rice was out there catching all those touchdowns. and the dudes would get totally pissed. Like their whole day would change. But that was an experience that I'll never forget watching Jerry Rice up close and personal. Like catch like 4 or 5 touchdowns like it was nothing.
That is another non-negotiable. Can we go back to about an hour ago? Like our generation, there are certain guys we just can't diss. Like I brought up MJ. I don't care what anybody says. That is non-negotiable. Jerry Rice, the best receiver ever. I'm done. I don't want to hear it. I don't.
Well, see, a guy like Flannel would go, well,
take a look at what Randy Moss did.
Moss was more,
I mean, Randy Moss. Jerry Rice was the best receiver ever.
Yes, I actually agree with you on that. I don't appreciate the implications, but no. Jerry Rice has almost 5,000. I think he has either almost 5,000 or more than 5,000 yards more than Larry Fitzgerald, who is second. It would take another 4 great Larry Fitzgerald years for him to even approach Jerry Rice. He has over 22,000. I don't think anybody else has over 17,500. It's ridiculous. He's the best ever.
You knew what Jerry Rice was doing. Everybody on the field knew what Jerry Rice was doing with that damn slant, and you couldn't stop it.
And see, people don't understand this either, because I watched him. I was always a Jerry Rice fan, so I watched him as a rookie. So he had a span of games where he was dropping everything. he was dropping passes, like easy passes, hitting him right in the hands.
Yeah.
And to see him go through that, in San Francisco, they loved him anyway, but he was dropping passes like crazy and got through it and became, after that, never looked back. So people that are worrying about J-Mo,
amen.
Relax.
Amen. Great point. Gosh.
Pump your brakes. The greatest ever to do it struggled at one time, and J-Mo's not even struggling. He's just not on the field yet.
I think the greatest Lion wide receiver I ever saw, Herman Moore, was a guy that dropped passes. Furman was sitting right here, he'd say the same thing. Yeah, my first couple of years, man, I had the dropsies, and I kind of figured out I needed contacts, and once that happened, so when I hear people say that, I'm with you. When I hear people say that, have you ever seen a guy fix the dropsies? That just doesn't get better, huh? What are you talking about? Yes, it does. That's what jugs guns are for too, and getting those extra reps, and of course the all-important 1 more 3 downs during exhibition season. That'll fix anything.
For sure.
No, Lindsey, that's such a great point about Jerry. And I remember people talking about him, and this is little kid brain. It is little kid brain. I remember thinking to myself, some kid from Mississippi Valley, what?
Right.
And you guys are talking this guy up? Because again, when you're like 14 years old, oh no, the greatest receivers only come from Michigan or Michigan State or Ohio State or Auburn or. There is no way that this guy, and you're talking about, 2 legends, Walter Payton, Jerry Rice, somehow, some way were absolutely, and Walter Payton's another guy. I don't think he gets the credit he deserves, man. I just don't. And I hate the Bears. I've gone on record, I hate the Bears. F the Bears. I've said that for years, okay? How could you not like Sweetness?
Oh,
he was unbelievable.
Dude, he was an absolute monster. I used to even go back home. I loved him so much. I used to go try to I found the hills he used to run, and I used to go run the hills.
Did you really?
Yes.
That's great.
Just because Walter Payton did it. I was like, dude, we got to go run the Payton Hill. And we all would go, and we'd run the hill till we puke. Just the fact that he ran those hills, he was just one of those unique athletes, man. And he was only like 5'9", 5'10", but he was put together like a Greek god.
Couldn't put him down.
No way.
Just could not
was
put
a monster.
He threw touchdowns. He was great out of the backfield.
Everything.
He was like bang for your buck. And it's funny. My dad, rest his soul, if he was here, he was like Barry Sanders' dad. He would argue with me until he had no breath left that Jim Brown was the greatest he ever saw.
Yeah, they are.
He would just, and it really is. It's a generational thing. And my dad, his checkmate to me was, well, ask Barry Sanders' dad who's better.
Yeah.
That was always like his I got you moment. Checkmate, you little son of a bitch. How's that? Let's go to his own father. And so I would always, I never got a chance to see Jim Brown. I always talk about guys that I saw. It's tough to have those conversations. Like, I'd love to sit here and break down the Big O's game. I hear about Oscar Robertson. I never saw Oscar Robertson play. So I'm going to sit that one out. But I'll tell you what, man, Barry, exciting. I think he's the most electrifying running back I've ever seen. Boy, but you talk a complete back, I'm going Sweetness.
Yeah.
I'm going Sweetness. I got no diss to Barry, of course. Barry is the most dynamic, electric guy ever.
Yeah.
Barry, Sweetness was.
Yeah. It's hard to, with all the great backs that we've seen, because Walter Payton has a special place in my heart because we went to school with the same place, of course. So he'll always have a special, and I just wasn't a big Emmitt Smith fan. I respect him, but hell, he was running through. You see those holes he was running through? One of us could have made the 5 yards with one of those big assholes.
I'd have picked up about 2.5 a pop. I could see myself getting 2.5 a pop. I could see that. Yeah, good stuff.
Barry had that offensive line.
Oh, yeah. The thing is too, it could have been if you look at that 91 line. Okay, so obviously they had Lomas is in my mind a Hall of Famer, but it's what they lost. One guy gets paralyzed, the other guy loses his life. What that line could have been is just such a damn shame. Utley and Andelsek, of course. So we know the Pistons are going to be better this year, right? Like, I'm going to say it again. I think the over-under is free money. I'm not a gambler, but if you like free money, bet the over on the Pistons over-under, okay? The Red Wings are going to be better. I think there's some things that work against the Red Wings. We'll get into it a little bit. Which team is closer to the playoffs? We'll have that conversation next. Lindsey Hunter, Woodward Sports, Sean Baligian, Woodward Sports, Spence, and Flannel.
Absolutely. And before we go to break, I have to tell you where I got this amazing haircut, because you all know I do have pretty good hair. And how would you like to win a new vehicle for you and a friend? That's right, a new car for you and your wife, girlfriend, or best bud. Just get to Lady Jane's and automatically register for your chance to win, courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
When buying or selling real estate, flexibility and control over the sales process is key. Sellers, how would you like the freedom of canceling your listing agreement at any time for any reason with no penalty? That's exactly what Mark White and Associates offers. It's called the minute-by-minute listing agreement from Mark White and Associates. Try Mark White's risk-free minute-to-minute listing agreement today. Looking to buy or sell real estate? Visit markwhitesells.com or call 248-290-8242. That's 248-290-8242. markwhitesells.com, where flexibility meets success.
So is that like, seriously, I mean, no disrespect to people out there, because I know like the apps and everything are big. I'm just not. I'll go to the sports book sometimes, but yeah. I don't put it on my phone because, quite frankly, I don't trust myself. Like really. So
that's fair.
No, I'm serious. I don't. I know how I am. I can see myself chasing. Like you brought up, Lindsey. I can see myself losing a couple games on a college football Saturday. And then it's 10 o'clock at night. I'm sitting at home going, gosh, damn it, I lost $500 today. Ooh, this Pac-10 game. Yummy, me make money back. And chasing all my money. And then the next thing I know, the next morning, I'm going, honey, I lost $1,500. I don't trust myself. Honestly, I don't pay attention to it too much. But correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't the over-under on Piston wins this year like 27.5 or something? Wasn't it something stupid like that?
Mm-hmm. Easy money.
That's free money. That's like seriously, man. That's free money, right?
Yeah, easy money, man. I mean, someone in the chat said it. They said with Cade being healthy last year, they win at least 30. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And just looking at the roster that they've put together now with the coach that they have, I'm calling for playoffs. I don't know about everybody else, but I think they'll make the playoffs.
I am 100% like whoever that was in the chat. Like let's pretend there wasn't a draft. Like let's pretend that they didn't add like more talent. Okay,
right?
No draft. There was no draft this year. The Pistons in Cade Cunningham being back makes me say over 27. Like especially now, I haven't seen him yet. In fairness, but everything that I've heard. Everything that I've read, and not just coming from Detroit sources, by the way, where we're looking through it with our little piston-colored glasses, okay?
Right.
Everybody's talking about what a beast this guy is, and he's ready for the next level. So, to me, Lindsey, again, free money, over 27,
yeah.
I'm cool.
Yeah, that's easy money.
Honestly, Playoffs wouldn't surprise you.
No.
I'll go ahead and defer with you then. Cool.
Yeah, I think they make the playoffs. I think there's going to be some shifting in the Eastern Conference this year, especially with the moves that have been made by some teams. And I think the Pistons have positioned themselves to be right there, peaking at that 8th seed. Definitely a play. They'll be, worst case scenario to me, they'll be in the play-in game. But I think they can get to the 8th seed. I hope they can get to the 8th seed and legitimize being a playoff team.
See, you bring up one thing to me as a positive for the Pistons, okay? Because look at this division, right? Look at the division the Pistons play in.
Yes.
All right?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that good, right? Can we all agree? And I think we're all, possibly waiting for Chicago to implode, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that like
they're going to blow it up?
They have to.
So conversely, we all know the Red Wings are better. We all know that, just another year of Yzerman building it the right way, the additions that he's made in the offseason, the Red Wings are better.
Yep.
The flip side is this. That division is a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
It is. Tampa isn't going anywhere. Boston is going to slip down, but are they going to slip down from a historic year to out of the playoffs? You're out your mind if you think that. The Sabres are going to be better. And look how close the Sabres were to getting in last year.
Mm-hmm.
We already know about Ottawa. They were this close to getting in. Toronto's
going to be better.
Lord forgive me, Toronto might be the team to beat in the division. And I'm somebody that's made fun of the Maple Leafs 1967 bitch for as long as I've been alive. I've made fun of the Maple Leafs forever. This is the year, Leaf fan. No, start that parade now. Listen, even at the bottom of the division, Montreal's better.
Mm-hmm.
They're not ready yet, but they're better. And they're getting got Cole Caulfield coming back for a full season is almost like Cade Cunningham.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, wait a second, this guy who scores goals at will, he's going to be back the whole year. Well, automatically you got to go up another level.
Mm-hmm.
So I think while the Red Wings might be a better team in terms of where they were and where they're going, I think circumstances are different. I think the Pistons' road might be easier to get back into the playoffs than the Red Wings.
I definitely think so. If you look at the bottom, let's say the bottom 10 of the playoff seeking teams, which was the Bulls were 10th, Toronto 9th, the Hawks were 8th, and Miami was 7th. Those were the guys that I think the Pistons can jump. I'm not Charlotte and Orlando. I think Orlando will be better. Washington,
no.
Indiana, I think the Pistons make that jump. The Bulls, we already talked about the Bulls. I'm not sure what's going on with Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are they? They were talking about. I think they did end up trading one of their bigs, which was a vital part of the team.
John Collins.
Yeah, they traded John Collins.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how they will hold up, but I think the Pistons are going to jump a lot of these guys. I'm expecting Miami to be better. I don't know what the Nets are going to do long term. I think they'll be kind of the same. They were 6th last year. They may drop. I don't think they'll maintain that type of play next year. The Knicks, they'll be good. I don't know how good. 76ers. What is happening there?
No, that's exactly it.
We don't know what's happening there.
I've been hearing talks about Embiid to Houston.
Yeah, so there's going to be changes there because nobody wants to be there anymore. And we know Boston and Milwaukee are the cream of the crop. They're going to be the top dogs in the conference. But I think the Pistons have a legitimate shot to jump a lot of these teams and put themselves in position to make the playoffs.
Isn't it? I really do. I'm going to reiterate. I think the Red Wings are further along down the path.
Mm-hmm.
But because of circumstances, I think the argument can be effectively made, and you just made it, that the Pistons might have a better chance to make the playoff. And to me, I don't give a damn about making the playoffs. I don't. I'm
You
serious.
said that.
I don't give a damn about making the playoffs. You know what? Hooray, we got in. I mean, great. You know what? Go get crucified. The last time the Pistons made it. Boy, wasn't that great? No, it wasn't great. It wasn't great. And the same thing can be said for the Wings. Well, maybe we can beat Tampa in one of these games. Well, whoop-de-freaking-do. Oh, golly gee. I want to see the accumulation of talent continue and the team progressively get better.
Right.
And like Steve Yzerman said, this isn't about trying to make the playoffs or win a cup. It's about winning cups, plural.
Right.
And I think the way that the Pistons have done this, I think that's kind of the same mentality, Lynn. We don't give a damn about finishing 7 or 8 in this. You know what? We've got long-term pieces that let's see in 2 or 3 years. Let's keep these guys healthy, and all of a sudden the score. Let's see what these guys can do and how much damage they can create 3 years from now.
Yeah, because the thing about it, Cade's gonna come up for that big payday, and if he makes an All NBA team or the All-Star team, then that money's gonna go up.
That's a reality.
$65 a year.
That's a reality, man.
So you got to try to make a run, while he's still, before he starts to sign those big deals, because a lot of these guys are going to start, their time's going to come up. Mm-hmm. Look at Boston. Boston's about to pay $500 million to two guys. They're going to pay $600 million to 2 guys.
I can hear all the Red Wing fans yelling at me right now, and like, seriously, I want to say it again. Like, guys, the Red Wings are better. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I think Steve's got them on path, maybe a little bit behind where he thought they'd be or where we thought they'd be, but it's circumstances around them that are different. The East is no pushover, man. Like, listen to what Lindsey just said. There are a slew of pushover teams in the NBA East.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You can't say that in the Eastern Conference in the NHL. In particular, I'll say again, the division.
Yeah.
The division's going to be tough, man. This is a tough division. I think the argument could be made the best division in the game of hockey. So that is no indictment against Yzerman. I'm one of those guys. McCarty, if you're watching, you know this. I'm in on the Yzer plan. I get it. I just think that people don't understand that this wasn't going to be as easy as, well, in 4 or 5 years, we're going to be ready. No, it doesn't work that way, especially when you got to remember there are a lot of teams operating that way right now. I'm going to use the Habs as an example again. They went to the Stanley Cup Finals 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. 2 years ago, they went to the Stanley Cup Finals. Went all the way to the mountaintop. Of course, they got smoked by the Lightning, but they went to the Stanley Cup Finals. You know how they responded to that? Time to rebuild.
Yep.
Time to rebuild. Some of the key guys that got us here. Shea Weber has maybe a year left because he's working on not a leg, a half a leg. Carey Price has half a knee. Some of the key players, Corey Perry's 36, 37 years old. You know what? We're going to do the change on the fly. And people sit back and go, wait, well, why? You just went to the Stanley Cup Finals. And it's because, you know what? This run's about to end. Right. Like, it's about to end, and you're going to have to make some hard decisions. So, get some of those young draft picks and pair them with what you already have in-house, so maybe the rebuild isn't as long and tedious as we thought. And unfortunately, we've seen one of those here with the Pistons. We've had a lot of stops and starts. And I know I told you this. I mean no disrespect. I think until this management came here, this franchise was the ultimate hamster on a wheel.
Yep.
They didn't do anything. They just kind of, sometimes they ran hard, but they didn't go anywhere because they're on that damn wheel. and I think that this management team in town has been smart to say, there are going to be some ups and downs. We're going to take our lumps. But if we keep getting this guy and pair him with this guy and pair him with, we're going to get there. I think that's a smart play.
Yeah, it definitely is. Because you have to, you know as well as I do, and you just talked about it. The Red Wings got there, but they knew, like, this run's over. We can't get over the hump with our guys. We got to retool.
Yep.
And I think the Pistons have, steadily added the right type of players. That's what I like about
Yep.
I think the Pistons learned from when they were selling out their future to just make the playoffs.
Can't do it.
6 years ago with Blake Griffin and stuff like that, how much that set them back. So now they're actually trying to build something that will last.
Right.
I liked what I like what Steve did, because whether people want to admit it or not, he did what you just said last year.
Mm-hmm.
Tyler Bertuzzi was a guy I think everybody thought was going to be here when they got good. Okay, this isn't working. We have to maximize things and see what we can get out of this now. Boom, you make a move.
Yep.
I think it's fantastic.
I
Go ahead.
it too.
Who's next?
Oh, yes, and speaking of defense, which the Pistons' defense will be better this year, you know what?
Patrick.
Hey, no defense can stop Patrick Mahomes, but you know what? You know what defense never will let you down under any circumstances ever? That is Guardian Alarm, of course. It's a new year. Let Guardian Alarm offer you customized solutions from real experts. Our professional technicians take the time to recommend security and automation solutions specific to your needs. 24/7 professional monitoring. Call us anytime, day or night, and know that a Guardian team member will stay on the phone as long as needed. Technology backed by people. Your safety and security deserves technology that's been proven to work and people who have been proven to care. Call them at 1-800-STAY-OUT. That's 1-800-STAY-OUT. Guardian Alarm, your local security experts.
Since the dawn of moving people, Chevrolet has led the way. The world of transportation is changing. At Feldman Chevrolet, we are leading the charge forward. With every electric vehicle, every mile traveled, one Feldman at a time. The company that puts more Chevys on Michigan roads is now the #1 name for Chevy electric vehicles.
Gabby is a college student struggling to study for her big exam. Then she discovered Syntron, a healthy way for her to stay awake and focus. Jennifer frequently has chaotic days like this until she gets online, orders some Syntron, and finds her groove. April visited her local grocery store, purchased a case of Syntron, and entered to win the Syntron 100K Vegas giveaway. Pick up your case of Syntron today at any Meijer location or visit drinksyntron.com/Vegas and enter for the 100K Vegas giveaway.
We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m.
I always love to give some shows some love. Don't forget Ermanni and Edwards with Maz coming up later on. 2 to 4, and then you guys are 5 to 7. What do you got going on tonight?
I got to get back there in the lab and crank out some prep for that. Once I get off here, we're definitely going to be talking Lions, though. That's all the people want to hear. It's football season.
Can we talk it again? Ready? You ready? Don't put anything into what you saw on Saturday. Just don't. Just don't do it, okay? Don't.
Some people can't help themselves.
They can't. I get it. I get it. They're going to be. The Lions are going to be a good team this year. I'm not joking. I'm not.
Yeah, why does everybody give me flack about? They think they think I'm gassing the Lions fans up for some reason. Don't they?
They do, yeah.
Don't they?
Yeah.
I know there are a lot of young people in the chat that maybe don't know that I've been doing this longer than you're alive. I have been accused so many times of hating on the Lions and all that stuff. That I think some people that I know are I think this is an 11-6 team that wins the NFC North.
Don't get me wrong now, Sean. I'm gonna give the Lions fans because I know a lot of them personally.
Yeah.
And we talk crap to each other all year long.
Sure.
So yes, I kick them when they're down. I'm supposed to do that. That's the beauty of the sport. So I get pleasure from that. I enjoy that. That's fun for me. But I do want them to win, though. I do want them to win, and I think they will this year. But I just don't. I don't get the confidence out of everybody, but being around you guys, I understand why. You know. But I still think about it. You said, what did Penn State fans think they're going to do what?
Oh, gosh. I'm so tired of that. Where is this? Like, Flannel, I know this is something you and I can join hand in hand and sing Kumbaya. Like, Coach Franklin's a moron.
You know what? He is, but I think this Penn State team is the best one he's had since he's got there.
Uh-oh.
I think they're going to be pretty good. I don't think they're going to be better than Michigan or Ohio State, but a top 10 team.
Okay. And I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
If you want to say that they're an also-ran again, I'm fine. But, let me read this. I'm going to read this to you, okay? I have seen more of these hot takes than you can shake a stick at. My buddy just sent me a thing from, I'm not even going to say where. I'm ready to unleash my hottest college football take of the season. Penn State will win the Big Ten and will play for a national championship.
Jesus.
Do you know how many times I've seen that in the past couple weeks?
You got like their confidence, though.
You know what drives me nuts, though? It's like
they're like Cowboy fans.
Haven't you seen what yet? No, there's more validity than that than anybody wants to admit.
They're like Cowboy
I have
fans.
seen Coach Franklin single-handedly lose games year after year after year. Yeah, especially to Mark D'Antonio. There were a couple games where the Spartans beat them where you're like, how the hell did that just happen?
Yeah.
That shouldn't have happened. Jerry Jones is your general manager, man. What do you want me to say? That's your general manager, okay? And it'd be one thing if it had been 5 years of this or 10 years of this. Jerry Jones has, in essence, been your general manager for 30 years? Like, knock it off.
It's so crazy.
You're not going to win anything with that guy making personnel decisions.
I love it. They need to let him make all the decisions. Let him keep calling all the shots. They'll be right there every year. And we'll beat them and knock them out the playoffs like we did 2 years in a row. And I'll sit there and laugh at them like we always do. And who was Kalamazoo, unfortunately, for Lindsey? The 49ers won't be good this year. Probably won't make the playoffs.
Yeah,
Kalamazoo,
dude.
You got to come up with a better roast than
come
that.
on, Kalamazoo.
Dude.
You're just playing, right? You're just teasing me, right?
The Niners are going to win 13 games this year.
Listen.
Unless Nick Bosa actually holds out, but I don't think
he's coming back.
11-6 and winning the North, I'd be happy as a pig in slop, man. Like, seriously, I'd be happy as I want that home game. I mean, it's still insane to think about it that the Lions haven't had a home game in the playoffs since 1993. I mean, it's insane when you think about it. It really is. What? I see it on your face. What? You were gonna bark something?
No, I am all good. It's just I was just gonna say to Kalamazoo, there is a way that you can kind of hit the 49ers. Not saying that they're not gonna make the playoffs. That's absurd, but under Kyle Shanahan, I think their lack of a great quarterback has maybe cost them a couple of times. I know last year it was because they all got hurt, but in that Super Bowl where the Niners lost to Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes, I think having Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, we had Garoppolo.
Yes.
Come on, we had porn star Jimmy. What do you expect? We were going to lose.
Hey, all I'm saying, and this is a factual statement, and a lot of you aren't going to like this, but this is true. The Cowboys have won a Super Bowl more recently than the 49ers.
Yes, they have.
That's factual.
But we've had a chance to win one because we've been there. You can't win it if you don't get there.
I know, but they got to cash one in at some point. Because they're starting to look like they might not get any during this era of winning.
I thought they would have last year if Purdy didn't get hurt.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know.
That's tough at Philadelphia. It would have been closer.
We would have beat them, dude.
I don't know about that.
I do.
I think they would have beat them.
Had a chance for sure.
Listen, if Garoppolo doesn't underthrow about 2 or 3 receivers that were wide open in the Super Bowl, we win.
I don't know. I think they score, and then Patrick Mahomes leads a game-winning touchdown drive.
Yeah, that's what you are. You're always going to say that. Hey, bye. Patrick Mahomes.
Super Bowl MVP of that Super Bowl. That actually happened.
The greatest of all time.
It's like the yoga. He's got the third eye.
Oh, my God.
He has a third eye. No, listen, I think what's weird about our town, though, Lindsey, to your point, is I don't think that we are used to justified expectations. I'm serious when you're talking about the Detroit Lions. And by the way, you know how we talked about building up and all that stuff and doing things the right way? I would literally sell my children's souls to have one Super Bowl. I would like, Satan, if you're listening, do I got a deal for you? I have a 2-for-1 deal. I got little Jack and little Lauren. You can have both their souls. Give me one Super Bowl and then the Lions can suck forever. Forever. Like that's all bets are off when you're talking about the Detroit Lions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, Troy's got to build the right way. Steve's got to build the right way. Put all the mother scratching eggs in the basket this year. The Lions win the Super Bowl. You go ahead and be 2-14 for the rest of my life, because I'm going to sit there like this for the rest of my days.
Yeah.
All you people that have tortured me and my grandpa that said, "What are you wasting your life for?" I will do a dance on his grave. Why do you waste your time watching the Lions? I will do the Super Bowl dance on my grandfather's grave. So that's why I take like when people do that, pardon my language, bullshit, and say, "Oh man, why are you dogging the Lions?" Like, dude, I am 53. I have seen everything. I want it all to end, and it can end one day, just one Sunday, and then I can sit like this for the rest of my days. It has nothing to do with hate. You know, guys like Lindsey and I and Spence, and we have a job to do. You have to be objective, and sometimes, sorry 2008, your team sucked. That doesn't mean that I hate the Lions,
Right.
and nobody ever comes back to you afterwards. Never.
No.
Nobody ever comes back to you afterwards and go, hey man, you know I was kind of dogging you at the beginning of the year, and I sent a bunch of bad like Facebook messages or tweets your way. Hey, I guess you were right. The Lions went 0-16.
Yeah.
You never hear from guys like that.
No.
You know.
Like people don't want to admit they love the teal jerseys, but the teal era sucks.
It's what it represents. I couldn't agree with you. I couldn't agree with you more. It's what it represents.
The teal and the burgundy were
That's what I feel about Lions. The Lions black jersey is Matt Millen and Mike Williams having Pringle grease all over his jersey because all he cared about was playing video games and eating snack foods. That's what. I don't know. The black jersey might be good, but it's what it represents.
Right.
And that's the way I feel about the teal jersey.
Oh, I hate
the teal jersey represents just a horrible period of time for me.
It was bad. I didn't like the jerseys anyway. Just made us feel soft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, someplace you can go to always feel great is Dispo, because Dispo is where it's at. Experience the true meaning of exceptional cannabis products with Dispo Dispensary. Indulge in the finest selection of cannabis curated with care, with over 12 locations, including their new location that is now open in Whitmore Lake. Dispo is never far away. And Friday, August 25th, all 4 shows will be live broadcasting from their Romeo location. So make sure you guys go check it out. And all Dispo locations will be having an end of summer batch on Friday, September 1st, all day long. There'll be vendors, food trucks, music, killer deals, and epic giveaways only at Dispo Dispensary, your local cannabis plug.
The Sports Marketing Agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zuniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
Your home is your most important asset. Flexibility in the sales process is key. When you work with Mark White & Associates, you can cancel at any time, for any reason, without penalty. Speaking of flexibility, check this out. Who you work with matters. Hire the best broker in the game.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports.
All right, I'm going to share that story. You guys mind? Because this stuff gets personal to me, okay? So for years, I used to do the pregame show on the radio, pregame shows on Fox 2 with Dan and the gang. And I used to tell this story on Thanksgiving to tell you where I'm coming from, okay? For the older generation out there, you'll remember this. Lindsey, you even remember as a kid watching this game, okay?
Yes.
Thanksgiving 1980. And it was the frickin' Bears, too. The Bears score a touchdown on the last play of the game to tie the game. So you're already devastated enough, right? You're already, that's already enough. I cannot believe it. The Bears scored a touchdown on the last play of the game to tie the game. We're going to overtime. The Bears win the flip, and they elect to receive. The Bears return the kickoff on Thanksgiving Day for a touchdown.
That's so demoralizing.
37 seconds ago, we're winning. We're winning by a touchdown.
Oh, man.
The Bears score on the last play of the game and the first play of overtime. My old man and my grandfather burst into laughter. It's funny to them, right? It's funny to them. I'm 10. My day is ruined. Grandma's butterscotch pie is not going to fix it.
Man.
There's no amount of turkey and gravy and rolls that can fix my day. My day's ruined, okay? So I know better enough not to walk up to my dad and go, Dad, why is that funny? Because my dad would go, shut up, sit down, go eat something, right? So you go to Grandpa. Kindly Grandpa, right?
Oh, God.
And I walk up to him, tears in little Sean's eyes. I'm like, Grandpa, why is this funny? He takes me on his lap, and he goes, Sean, you'll understand one day. And you know what the worst part is? He wasn't wrong. He wasn't wrong. So, if you're offended at me making the promise that I'm going to dance on my grandfather's grave, I am going to dance on my grandfather's grave. I am going to hold up a Super Bowl champion shirt. I am going to leave a Super Bowl champion's hat on his gravestone. I don't care if somebody comes and steals it 5 minutes later. It was there. He knows. So that's why, Lindsey, sometimes to get your back, that's why sometimes I get agitated with people.
Right.
You don't think I want him to win? Like, what's wrong with you?
Well, that's what some people think, because when you criticize or you point out the flaws that some of our teams have, people think you're hating.
Well,
I've been known as a hater my whole life. I embrace it now.
You are a hater, though. You say you like hating.
I do.
I wish I knew you, Flannel, going back 10 years ago, because I had so much fun with Ryan Ermanni, okay? I had so much fun. And your fan base, probably, I would say 95% of your fan base, you're a hater, typical Sparty, all of that crap. And you know what the problem was? You wanted to be told that you were something that you weren't.
No, and at the time we weren't.
But it's always easy to admit it after the fact.
Yeah.
It's always easy to admit it. 10 years ago, you would have been throwing things at me. Like I'm serious. It's like I would guys, look at Brady Hoke. Look at him. Look at Brady. That is your football coach.
Yeah.
Is that the guy that has you feeling like, forget the Big Ten, that's small potatoes. We're going to go pound Alabama and win a national championship. Nobody wants to hear it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Brady Hoke, I think he fooled a lot of us with, because his first year, remember, and it wasn't with his players, but they made the Sugar Bowl.
That was a good team.
Yeah, they beat Ohio State, the Luke Fickell season. They go to the Sugar Bowl. They beat Virginia Tech. It was kind of on a couple of prayers by Denard Robinson that got answered, and then the game-winning field goal. It was a good team, but yeah, it was a little bit of a fugazi, because obviously it all culminated in that disastrous 2014 in which they were 5-7, and it just so happened that you guys over at East Lansing were experiencing from 13 to 15 probably the greatest stretch of sustained winning in I don't know how long. Certainly in my lifetime, yeah.
Right. But it's interesting. It's like what Lindsey said, though. It's not that difficult. If a team is doing well, you know what you should say? You should say they're doing well.
Right.
Like if you're not willing to say a team that's doing well is doing well, then you might be a hater. Then you might be a hater. Okay. And conversely, if a team isn't very good, don't get mad at me when I say, hey, you're not very good.
You suck, right.
I think people want sometimes, and that's one change in this business for me, Lindsey, is I think people want to be told they're pretty too often. Like, I really do. That's one change in this business to me. People want to be told they're pretty.
But that's society.
Yeah, isn't that the truth?
Society. Everybody. You can't say anything mean anymore.
No. It's and is it being mean? Like
no,
honestly,
it's not to me.
Hey, listen, Spencer. Michigan State was a shit show last year. Mm-hmm. Michigan State football was a shit show last year. Shame on them for blowing that game against Indiana in particular.
Yeah.
We're sitting there going, well, 6-6 is not that bad. Yes, it was. Yeah. But shame on you especially for blowing that game. Does that make Spencer any less of a Spartan?
Nope.
Does that make me? Anybody?
Nope.
Like, people get so weirded out about it. And by the way, listen to what Lindsey's saying. Lindsey, repeat the way you feel about the Lions.
I think they are Super Bowl contenders.
What could you get mad at? Like it's like a
because they think I'm setting them up for failure. That's what the multitudes say.
People get mad if you even say 11-5.
Yeah,
I mean, it's good. 11-6. 11-6. What are you doing? This is a 13-win team, hater. All right. Service in 10 minutes. Have your red, yellow robes are optional. Hold on. Yes, Flannel's telling me that yellow robes are optional today after the incredible running out of bounds throw. So you can wear your yellow robes today. Patrick Mahomes. Lindsey, it's a blast. Let's do it again soon.
All right.
Flannel, thank you. Spence, thank you. Thank you for watching. See you later, Woodward Sports.